Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have all the way from Owl's Head, Maine. We have the pleasure of having Annie Higbee with us, and she is a children's author and an illustrator. Wait till you see her book. Listen up, folks. The Hummingbird and the Narwhal. The Hummingbird and the Narwhal. Look at this. You did the cover too, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Are you, obviously, you're artistic.
Well, I think so, yes.
Yeah. And you self-published.
Yes, I did.
How long did it take you to write it?
It took about 2 years because, I did the writing and then, the illustrations came and then it was sort of organic the way they moved off each other. And I'm like, I need this illustration. So I did the illustration and then I went back to the writing. And
Annie, is this your first book?
This is my first book.
She's off and running. Let me tell you, there's a copy up at Upton Library, too. Great for the kids, too, to read. Awesome. All right, now I got to confess. When I first saw this book, I'm like, first of all, what a cover. Oh, my God, because I love the colors. But then I said to myself, what the? It's a narwhal. And I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, I see a hummingbird. So that little guy down there must be a narwhal. To people who don't know what it is, tell us.
Okay. Well, a narwhal is a whale.
Yeah.
And they live in the Arctic, and they have a long, in the book I say horn.
Yeah.
But it's literally a tooth. And if you didn't notice yet, the hummingbird and the narwhal are similar in shapes.
In shape or just their snout?
In shape and snout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Their shape and their snout.
Yeah.
Now,
And so, yeah.
So the icy cold waters of the Arctic. Now that's where the narwhal lives.
Correct.
I know. He's sort of like a whale.
He is a whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a kind of a smaller version, would you say?
Smaller, yeah, he's as big as a bus, basically.
Big as a bus?
Uh-huh.
A school bus?
Yeah, school bus.
Oh, kids. When you're riding your school bus, just think of this guy. He's as big as your bus is. How did you ever hear about this creature?
Well, I mean, a lot of people think that they're magical, and some people think they don't even exist. But I live in the northern part of Maine, where narwhals are more well-known. But some people don't even know what they are. I
wasn't sure. Did she make up a cute name? Was it real? And then I started reading the book. I'm like, my God, it is real. On the other side of the big round planet, in the northern latitudes, the narwhal, under the surface in the icy cold waters of the Arctic, was also beginning his day as a gigantic whale. The two of these two meet. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, it's pretty unlikely that they would meet because one lives above the surface of the water and the other lives below. And so the story is that the hummingbird is on her migration north from South America to Maine, and she gets blown off course and ends up in the Arctic. And the narwhal is also lost. He gets separated from his family, and so they meet.
Yeah.
And they meet because they're both listening. Because if you might have heard a hummingbird.
Yeah.
You might have heard a hummingbird before you've ever seen one.
So like zzz.
Yeah. It's like that sound. Yeah. So, and the narwhal also listens with sound.
Yeah.
And so they heard each other in that way, but also it was a magical meeting, which you have to read about.
And they were both lonely.
They were both lonely.
They were both very lonely. Look at this picture. Gosh, she's good. Picture of the narwhal. Here's his snout going all the way. Is it hard? Is it like a...
Yeah. It's a tooth. So, and actually in the olden days, people collected them, because, well, now it's illegal to do that, but they're twisted like this.
It's a twisty tooth. How long is it? How many feet?
I'm going to guess it's like maybe 10.
Why would this creature be even around?
That's a really good question. Well, so what does this tusk or horn do? And why is it around? Well, evolution happens and everybody evolves in their own way. Maybe the hummingbird evolved into the air because it has wings, but the narwhal has fins and it's under the water. So, we have to leave that up to Darwin. But But what's interesting is that a lot of people don't know what the horn does, or his tooth. And when I started this book, it was pretty much known that it wasn't known what it does.
Yeah.
And now science is maybe getting some ideas, but part of the book is about, hey, what does your horn do? You know, because the hummingbird knows what her horn does.
Yeah.
So it's about exploration and finding purpose.
And Narwhal says to the hummingbird, "Yes, most of my body is underwater, and I'm a whale. You just landed on my long twisted horn." And here she, is it a he or a she, the hummingbird?
The hummingbird is a she, in the book, and the narwhal is a he.
So that's her up on top. Do you see these up in Maine? Do you see them like swimming around, these big...
Narwhals? No. You have to go up to like Greenland and that area to see narwhals.
Do they come from Nova Scotia?
They come down to Canada in the summer in migration, but otherwise they live out in the open ocean up towards Greenland.
How close do they ever get to your coast? How close?
I mean, I would say we have to drive like 20 hours north to get to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How? By the way, this lady, how many hours did you drive to get here today?
3.5. But thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate you sharing my book. Thank you.
I mean, to me, and my husband could tell you, it was more than like an hour and a half. It's like, when are we going to get there? We got to stop. I got to eat. Did you stop at all?
No.
What?
Well, I didn't want to, like, what if I got caught in traffic? I didn't want to miss it.
But you didn't even eat, or did you bring something?
Oh, I brought food with me.
Do you have a dog with you?
I do.
You
She's in the book, actually. Yeah.
Where did I miss that?
Oh, you didn't miss it. You just...
Is he in the bag? No. It's okay.
I'll show you. I'll show you. And over here.
We'll find him.
I could show you.
By the way, you folks, look at this drawing of a narwhal. This is real. This is a great big old whale the size of your school bus with a long snout prong. Okay, there's her dog.
Yeah.
Can you zero in on that? Now, he's in the car right now.
This is
what's her
Bella.
name?
Her name's Bella. And she's Lhasa Apso poodle mix.
Yeah.
And she's in the story because when the narwhal brings the hummingbird back to Maine because she needed, her color energy from the flowers, the nectar, basically.
Yeah.
And so the narwhal gets to the shore, and he's sonaring, but no one's listening.
Yeah.
Sonaring, no one's hearing him. And then finally, a dog starts, barking.
Yeah.
And hears something.
Yeah.
And then the dog's owner listens to the dog and comes to the shore to find out what's going on.
See the feet right there.
Yeah. So it's about listening.
Yeah.
Listening to the gift of kindness, because basically the girl helps the narwhal who's helping the hummingbird.
Yeah.
And the dog is part of all that.
Look at this page. Now this is when the dog. Was this by the time it was brought back to land, sort of?
This is the section where the hummingbird helps the narwhal to learn the purpose of his horn. And she goes to the upper world to get her bird's eye view and to get the message. And while she's there helping him get the purpose, he has a dream. And that's the dream.
Yeah.
He dreams of color.
Yeah.
He's never seen color because the narwhal lives in the land of black and white.
Yeah.
There's no color under the water. It's just black and white.
The narwhal awoke with an inkling of hope and looked up to the sky. And to his delight, he would just make out the shape of the hummingbird and hovering and buzzing just inches from his head. "You're back! I'm so glad you're back. Why did you go?" the narwhal said. Just doing the illustrations alone, Annie. So you started this book 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's been about 2.5 now because it just got published in May of this year. So it took me 2 years, but then now it's been out since May of 2023.
And it took, okay, so Annie went to Cornell up in Maine. Was it Maine?
No, that's New York.
New York, okay. And you majored in?
Environmental education.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, with the two critters here.
Yeah.
I love this one at night. So there's, if you can see it, it's the one with the narwhal up with his nose up. What do you call that?
You can call it a nose,
Okay.
a horn, literally a tooth.
Pointing up to the sky, right at the hummingbird. They connect, obviously, right? Because she's got a noise, and he's got a... Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like a TV type of connection. And then there's the boots she was showing before just a second. Oh, there's the dog. They say that dogs, I don't know about cats, but dogs have, what is it, a radar inside?
Yeah, they have really good hearing.
Well, he did a great job hearing this.
Yeah.
And then he was responsible for, I think, for bringing them together. And then the boots of the human, who helped too.
Yeah.
There's her kindness part of the story.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very tight. Did you know before you wrote this what you were going to do, or you just kind of came to you?
That's a good question. I think I didn't know. So basically, I knew I wanted to write the story.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how it was going to go. And so I just reflected on, the two different creatures and how they were alike and how they were different.
Yeah.
And, I knew I wanted to express the theme of friendship and kindness.
Right.
And it was just so important to me. And I knew that their meeting was powerful and unique and unlikely. And so I really wanted that to shine because, in the days that we're in right now, we meet other people all the time, but we don't take the time to really know. And so these two creatures really shine and show like how precious it is to meet another person, another being, and just see like seriously, it's a whole like 180 degrees of another person's world that you could find out about. That it's so precious that we meet another person.
We're talking with Annie Higbee, and she is here with us all the way from Maine. Owl's Head, Maine. That's up higher than Portland.
Yeah, it's 2 hours north of Portland.
God bless this woman. Now, you were at Tatnuck, or you're going to be there?
I have been to Tatnuck Booksellers. They carry my book.
Yep.
And they was gracious enough to have me there as the author signing.
That's how I heard about her. Yeah, I know Rebecca. We have her on the other day. She is the head of events planner over at Tatnuck.
They're wonderful over there. Yeah.
They are so happy to see authors. I've lost track of the hundreds I've sent over there. New authors too. Were you out front, or did you have the room in the back?
I was out front.
Out front.
Yeah.
That's cool too. If you're a new author, it's really nice. Be out front there, and people see you right off. How can they get a hold of you and your book?
So it's possible to find me online. My name is Annie Higbee. You can also search the title of the book, which is called The Hummingbird and the Narwhal. And the website is hummingbirdnarwhal.com. The book is for sale in all online areas like Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. But it's always good to frequent your local bookstore because then they offer events and there's a community around that. So I always say, wherever you are, go to your local bookstore and ask them for the book because then more people find out about it. Plus, the book is about sharing. So, once you get a copy, you can inscribe it to someone else. That's another way of getting the book. So you give it away.
Okay. I was looking for your picture, but there isn't one. That's what was kind of cool, because then we get an idea who you are. She's so pretty,
Well, maybe my next book.
Yeah, well, definitely. It says at the end, this is the first edition of The Hummingbird and the Narwhal. There's another one?
Well, it's the first edition. In other words, it's the first printing.
Yeah.
And so, when I'm famous and as famous as Robert McCloskey, who's the most famous author in Maine, then, you're going to be like, oh my God, I have a first edition of this book.
I thought Stephen King was.
Well, not children's books.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, oh my God, I would have freaked out as a kid. Look at this picture. Now, the Narwhal got to dress up. Look at him.
Yeah.
I like the little designs.
Thank you.
It just shows that you could kind of change the way you come across, right?
Yeah, well, so that was his wish.
Yeah.
And he wished to have color, to experience what it's like to have color.
He did. And as he says, it's magic. And then he's swimming around with a bunch of other narwhals. That's pretty cool. No wonder you majored in environmental sciences. Did you know out of high school what you were going to do?
No, I knew nothing. I was like the one who was the last in line to find out, and then I did several other careers to get to this place. So, Yeah.
All the other girls, I've told this before, but all the other girls were going into elementary education. And so, of course, my parents were pushing, you got to go to college, you got to take college prep. Okay, yeah, fine, I'm doing it. So I did what the other kids did, got accepted into college I wanted. You've heard of Plymouth State up in New Hampshire?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I went. Didn't know it was a party school. Because I didn't drink. And this, I'm like, my roommate was going out there having, keg parties. And I'm like, where are you going? And they come back sick as a dog. I'm like, are you nuts? But anyway, I loved the atmosphere, and that's what pulled me into Plymouth.
Yeah.
But, so I went in there thinking I was a big girl, elementary school ed. All the other girls are doing it. Bored out of my mind. But my roommate was an art major. You can relate to art.
Yeah.
Danny is so good at illustrating. And I thought, well, that looks like fun and easy. So without even telling my parents, changed my major.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, right into art.
That's great.
So, yeah, I didn't stick around too long. After a couple of years, I'm like, this isn't going anywhere.
But you know what's amazing is that this is the preciousness of meeting, and who planned the fact that your roommate was an artist and that she influenced you, and so that's what this book is about, is how to influence with kindness and purpose other people, because we're all on the path.
I know, I love it. Do you have another one coming out pretty soon?
I have another one in mind, but
You haven't written it yet.
I haven't written it fully, and I'm starting, but I'm really focusing on this one.
Where are you going to be appearing coming up?
Well, I'm gonna have a few author book signings coming up.
In this area or further away?
I have one I'm going to Salem, Mass tomorrow, but
Get ready for Halloween up there.
Yeah, right.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to, I can't remember the bookstore that I'm going to up there.
How did you hear of them?
It's just that I create a book tour. I'm so committed to getting the message out that I just go to places and I say, hey, I'm coming, and so then they see the book and then they're inspired, and so it's about sharing the message.
There's so many new indie places out now, independent bookstores. We're full of them out this way. I don't know about you up in Maine, but the further you come down into New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, it's just smorgasbord for my authors. It's just I'll send them complete contacts, and they have everything they need. And so you're going to be doing that tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Are you going to go all the way back home tonight?
No, I'm going there tonight to Salem.
Okay, stay overnight?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Have you got a costume? No, not
yet.
I'll
work on that.
Don't stay in the, who was the gal that killed her parents? Who's the one? No, she murdered her parents. Who was that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, in Salem.
The witches.
Yeah, but she gave her parents 30 whacks or something.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
That's not Salem.
That's not Salem? I think it was Salem. Well, anyway, and then, so you're going from there. That's tomorrow, which is Saturday. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then from there, what are you going to do?
Then I'm going back to Maine, and I'm planning out basically preparing the book for Christmas sales.
Were you going to around up there, or are you going to come back?
Up there and everywhere. I mean, I just got back from L.A. I was in L.A. doing...
You flew out there.
I flew out there.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah. Because that would be a hell of a trip.
Right? It would be fun, but...
Now, you have a daughter, and she's got her own store in Mexico.
Yes.
And she sells the native, their jewelry down there.
Mm-hmm. She's, like jewelry, and also... artisanal crafts, like rugs, like handmade wool rugs. And beautiful like crafts that they make there.
So she got her artistic bent from you.
She is very artistic and very entrepreneurial.
She's an only child?
She is.
Oh, yes. I'm pretty much like that, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a curse, Annie, or it's a blessing. I don't know. Because so many ideas, she was aimed. But I think a lot of us who are entrepreneurs, we just I read about it, just keep coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like throwing something at the wall. Okay, is this going to stick? But you can't help it.
Right.
I learned that in my family. The men were kind of like that. Like they would try different things, but they would succeed. That's just the way it was. But do you have brothers and sisters, or you and only?
Yeah, no, I'm the middle child, and I have two brothers on either side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So did they protect you, the daughter?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Are they artistic like you?
I don't. My younger brother is a builder, so he's artistic in that realm.
That's creative.
Yeah. And then my older brother is like a chef, so that's creative.
That's creative too. Aha. Now, did your mom and dad know about your book?
Oh yeah.
What do they think?
Oh my God, my mom thinks it's great, and
Yeah.
it's interesting. One of her first comments was like, "Well, it's a bit long because
Long?
it's a children's book," but
Oh, no.
that's the wonderful thing. And then she read something, and she's like, "Well, actually, for kids who don't really want to go to sleep right away, it's a great book for them because they get to stay up longer."
Exactly.
So it was important to me to write the story and it's not short, it's not like
Yeah.
a quick read. It is
No.
definitely a focused read. You could break it up into chapters, but,
yeah. I like it because you did break it up.
yeah.
Did your mother read to you when you were little?
Yeah, probably. I don't remember.
Okay, mine sure did.
Yeah.
Till I was 8 years old, and I could read a couple of years before that. But I loved bedtime. I think it was her way of calming me down.
Yeah.
But it worked, and I loved it until one night she said, "You're old enough to read to yourself." Ugh, I was crushed.
Oh my God.
I know, but
Aw.
but still, she would be the animals. She would. That's how I got,
Right.
And reading aloud, it just became natural. It's a fun thing. It's a good. This type of this book, her book, Hummingbird and the Narwhal. This is something you moms, and maybe your older siblings can read and enjoy too, because the printing isn't just what do we call it? Kindergarten.
Right. It's not categorized in
No.
just one area. It really is a children of all ages book. It's for inspiring, for becoming inspired. And also, you shouldn't read alone, because, you might get lonely or sad or have that feeling. And so it's always good to read with someone else.
Exactly. Annie, are you getting, I always ask this, are you getting into senior centers?
Oh.
They have children and grandchildren.
Oh, good idea.
A lot of my authors will look at me and they'll say, "Why are you sending me there?" Because grandparents, they love books for the kids.
Oh, that's great.
And they have, of course, their kids have the grandkids, right?
Yeah.
And they can buy for them. Don't ever overlook the senior centers, ever, if you're an author, ever, ever, ever. And again, how can they reach you?
Okay, so you can search online for the Hummingbird and the Narwhal. The website is hummingbirdnarwhal.com. I'm Annie Higbee. I'm the author and illustrator. And, I can't wait to hear what you think of the book.
Definitely let her know. And if you'd like her to come give a presentation, this one will travel anywhere. I've worked with a lot of authors, and I will obviously say to them, how far are you comfortable going?
Yeah. Well,
And-
I'm so committed to getting the message out. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's a really good, book for teaching.
Yeah.
And useful in schools too. So I'll
How
go to
did you get
schools.
the message out all the way to California?
I just contacted California.
Yeah.
So
Was it a
hello.
library or a bookstore?
It was bookstores.
A bookstore.
Yeah.
One that you'd heard about or you just read about?
Well, my editor lives in California,
Mhm.
and he gave me some ideas of the good ones in LA. So I just went to the bookstores and contacted them. And then I think the combination of seeing the title and the name, and then when I describe what it's about, basically two creatures that look alike that come from completely different worlds.
Yeah.
People are inspired at that moment.
Oh, definitely.
And
I did
so-
that. I said I didn't know what a narwhal was. Again, at the beginning, I thought it's a made-up creature, and I went, no, that's real. The cover itself. I mean, look at a snout on that whale. It's a whale. It's a whale. And there's a little hummingbird. Are your books always going to be based on the wonderful environment and kindness?
Well, I think that animals provide a sort of safe place to express feelings. We love animals in the United States, and for us, our dogs are just so important. And I think I expand it out. I'm definitely an animal person, and I think, respect for all creatures is so important because, humans aren't the only creatures on this planet. We also live with many other creatures, and what would it be like to hear what they have to say?
This brings me to, in the environmental world, Will you stick, do you think, more with the oceanic, or would you go like into the forest?
We'll see. I don't know.
How about mysteries? Mysteries with the animals.
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm more of a like loving kindness kind of girl. Yeah.
Like a deer meets a gopher. And they have two very different worlds.
But how do they help each other out?
Who was it in the Fiddler on the Roof? Remember when his youngest daughter, what was her name? Oh, I can't think of it. She fell in love with the Russian soldiers. They think she was Jewish. And Tevye was very much against it. And he said, a bird may love a fish, but where would they make a home together? I never forgot that.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
But I like your books because they are sort of making a emotional home together with the kindness and this type of thing. One more time, we're going to have to close. But Annie, how can they get a hold of you?
So you can find me online, Annie Higbee. I'm the author illustrator, and the book is called The Hummingbird and the Narwhal. And you can find it at hummingbirdnarwhal.com or any bookstore that you like. Just go there and ask them for it.
All the way from Maine. I got to hand it to her. I mean, we've had from New York City and all, but would you say you're further than New York City or they're further?
I think it depends how fast you drive.
Well, I don't. I'm in the turtle lane. I can't
Probably
stand.
New York is further.
Oh,
but thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on the show and for sharing the book.
Let me know about the next one,
Thank
okay?
you.
Let us know, because if you don't forget, go over to the Upton Town Library and just go over and ask, and they'll lead you to it. And it's another great way to get the word out. Leave a copy of your book. She's got to get out more. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.